The Solitary Path to Happiness, a Buddhist tale of inner fulfillment. Surya was well liked in his town. As a young merchant, he had many friends, attended every festival, and was never alone. Yet deep inside, an unsettling emptiness followed him wherever he went. He would laugh and talk with his companions, but when he returned home at night, silence felt unbearable. One evening, after a lively gathering at the town square, Surya sat with his closest friend, Arjun, watching the stars. "You are always surrounded by people," Arjun said, "yet you always seem restless." Surya chuckled. "I just enjoy company. Silence feels lonely." Arjun smirked. "You're never alone, yet you are always lonely." The words struck Surya like a sharp wind. That night, lying in bed, he stared at the ceiling. Was Arjun right? If he was truly happy, why did he feel this deep sense of dissatisfaction when he was alone? For days, the thought lingered. Surya had wealth, friends, and admiration, yet something was missing. Then, one afternoon, he overheard travelers speaking about a wise monk, Master Virya, who lived in a mountain monastery. "He has discovered the secret to happiness," they said. Surya's curiosity ignited. If someone had truly found happiness, he needed to learn from them. Surya packed lightly and set off on his journey. The road to the monastery was steep and winding, but after 2 days of travel, he finally arrived. The monastery was peaceful. Monks in saffron robes moved about in silence, tending to gardens, sweeping paths, and meditating beneath ancient trees. A sense of calm filled the air. Surya found Master Virya seated beneath a large Bodhi tree, eyes half closed in meditation. He hesitated, then bowed respectfully. "Master, I seek happiness," Surya said. The old monk opened his eyes and studied Surya for a long moment before speaking. "You are seeking happiness outside, yet you have never sat with yourself long enough to find it within." Surya frowned. "But isn't happiness found in companionship, success, and experiences?" Master Virya shook his head. "Those are fleeting joys. True happiness is not in the noise of the world, but in the silence of the soul." Surya did not fully understand, but he agreed to stay and learn. For his first lesson, Master Virya instructed Surya to spend 3 days in a small hut on the edge of the monastery, alone, with no distractions. No books, no music, no social interaction, only himself. Surya was confident at first, but within hours, he felt restless. The silence was unbearable. His mind raced with thoughts, memories, worries, fears. He paced the room, muttered to himself, even tried to count the lines on the wooden walls. By the second day, frustration turned to discomfort. He realized he had always filled his life with noise to avoid facing his own thoughts. On the third day, something shifted. He sat by the window, listening to the wind rustling the leaves. He noticed the distant chirping of birds, the way the sun warmed his skin. A strange calmness settled over him. When Master Virya returned, Surya admitted, "At first it was unbearable, but today I felt peaceful." The monk nodded. "You are learning. When you run from solitude, you run from yourself. But when you embrace it, you begin to know yourself." Master Virya then taught Surya meditation. "Sit with your thoughts as if watching clouds drift by. Do not hold on to them, do not chase them, just observe." Surya struggled at first. His thoughts were chaotic, filled with regrets, desires, and anxieties. But slowly, he learned to detach. He realized that much of his suffering came from chasing happiness outside himself. One day, he opened his eyes after meditation and smiled. "It feels as if my mind has cleared, like a still pond." Master Virya nodded. "The mind is like water. When you stop disturbing it, clarity appears." The monk took Surya to a nearby village. As they walked through the bustling streets, they observed people gossiping, arguing, seeking validation. "Do you see?" Master Virya said. "Many believe happiness comes from others, but in truth they are enslaved by their need for approval. Is that true joy?" Surya watched a man boast loudly to impress his friends, a woman anxiously seeking praise for her beauty. He saw how much suffering came from external attachment. For the first time, he felt grateful for the solitude he had once feared. Surya began spending more time in nature, embracing solitude not as loneliness but as peace. He watched the sunrise, listened to the river, felt the wind on his face. Each moment was complete in itself. One evening, sitting under a tree, he realized he no longer craved distractions. He was content simply being. Master Virya approached. "You have found what you were seeking, haven't you?" Surya smiled. "Yes, happiness is not in things or people. It is in presence, in acceptance, in being." After months of learning, Surya decided to return home. This time he was different. People noticed his calm presence. He no longer sought validation or feared solitude. He enjoyed conversations but did not cling to them. He was content whether alone or with others. His old friend Arjun saw him and said, "You look different, happier. What changed?" Surya smiled. "I have learned to enjoy my own company. I am never truly alone because I am always with myself." Years later, Surya became a teacher, sharing the wisdom he had learned. People came to him seeking happiness, and he always told them, "You must first find peace within. Only then can you find joy anywhere." And so he lived, not chasing happiness, but embodying it. The moral of the story: true happiness is not found in external distractions, but in inner peace. When we learn to be content with ourselves, we are never truly alone. In a world filled with distractions, we often seek happiness outside ourselves, through people, achievements, and possessions. But as Surya discovered, true fulfillment comes from within. When we learn to embrace solitude, silence, and self-awareness, we find that we are never truly alone. Inner peace is the key to lasting joy. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Enlightenment Channel for more powerful Buddhist stories that inspire wisdom, mindfulness, and transformation. Stay present, stay peaceful, stay enlightened.